Welcome back to In Between. This is a space for people in Vietnam who navigating life across countries, cultures, languages, identities, and even transitions. Today's guest is an American director and writer now based in Vietnam. Let's together discover what it means to build a life and creative path in a place which is still evolving like Vietnam. Hello, Ken.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. How are you?
Thank you for coming.
I'm grateful.
So, you have built career in the US and now you're based in Vietnam. What made this the right moment for you to shift the environment? What made you think this is the right moment?
Well, it's not so much was it the right shift. It just felt like the best thing to do in my career. A lot of the challenges I've had building was just putting myself in environments that can be conducive to be more creative. And right now, Vietnam is looking very bright in that spec, so I'm glad to be here.
But what did you see here creatively that made you decide to stay?
Well, initially when I came here, I was doing actually a abroad program where we did we did stories, documentaries on change makers. And through my interaction, through two of the films I did, including Mr. Happy, I was exposed to a different type of culture that created a lot of curiosity. And through that curiosity, I come a long way to be here, so it's like I might as well just go ahead and stay and just, fester out that curiosity, see what goes on with that. And that's why I decided to stay.
When was that moment you realized that it's more than just an interest for you? The storytelling?
That's a great question. So I like part of my get away from the outside, I guess, is going to movie theaters and film festivals. And a lot of times when you kind of know you're onto something is when you can kind of see where the story is going that you're watching. But also the stuff that they're not saying that you felt like, oh, it would really have been great if they would have touched on this or did this. And the more I found myself talking about these films with others, it kind of got to a point like, well, maybe you should create it, Ken. Sometimes you could be on, you criticize everything else, but instead of criticize, be the solution. Produce your own stuff, create your own work. So that really inspired. And then I would see movies and I'd be like, I thought that up. But I'm so glad they didn't do what at the end. Their movie went to another direction, while mine went to the left. So that kind of put me on the right path that I'm doing something that could be beneficial.
But where does courage come from? From the idea that let's do it yourself, let's create your own stuff. But it's not like everybody having that courage to actually start something on their own.
I think the courage is knowing that if you don't do it, 3 years from now, you're going to see your thoughts on the big screen. And that hurts an artist like myself. Because I've had the idea, and if I don't put in fruition, then it's only right that the next person who came with that idea gets the credit.
Yeah, I think it's same with everyone. Like, I thought about this too, but somebody realized that before you.
Yeah. But you know what? The thing is that it's not so much they thought about for you, it's just that they pressed the button on it and you decide to think about it, and the next thing you know, more and more is coming, and then you find yourself getting further down that opportunity hole. And that's what you don't want. So being more proactive now, I think I tell everybody else, sometimes it's not, you don't have to worry about being so happy with the finished product, but just go through the process. It doesn't have to be perfect in the first end, but the fact that it's building is beneficial because you're going to learn along the way. And that's what gives me the courage to keep going.
It's easier said than done still. We have a lot of pressure financially, right? We all want, I don't know, everybody's different, but I think most of the young people or the Vietnamese people we were raised, like you have to be certain about life, or your career, your job, or your school, something. Everything is about certainty. Nowadays, getting better. I think because maybe the living conditions getting better.
Absolutely.
But before it's still very hard let's go do something that I think I could do it on my own. I have ideas and just go for it. But it's very hard. For me now, it's still very hard.
Yeah.
Like when I even doing this podcast right now, I think I'm really brave.
You're doing a great job. You're doing an absolutely awesome job. The fact you're doing it is awesome.
Because yeah, yourself even don't believe that you can do it. But anyway, back to you. I'm curious, what is your first impression when you arriving in Vietnam?
Well, first impression, I knew that I had certain things I would watch and get observed to, just the culture. But what prepared me, what did not prepare me was the heat. I mean, it can be intense, but it's a wake up call to let me know that I'm here. So I did more of embracing it. One thing I did notice too is just about how family oriented the culture here is in Vietnam, and that's great because I'm a big component of family first. Well, God first, family first, and that is something that I saw that is really ingrained here. So no matter what levels you're all in life or statuses, everybody's contributing, and I think that's important. So that was another thing. Other than that, the food, the culture, as far as just the thirst to want more, the hardworking, and that's something I can relate to. So
You think Vietnamese are hardworking?
Well, yeah, I've seen. Well, yeah, they are hard. I mean, they found a way, regardless if they're just sitting under the sun. I mean, they have a stand that's making money. And something is they're manifesting. It might not make $1 million that day, but the fact there's something out there and tell me that's great.
But I think it's more about survival. I'm not really sure because I've never been to the US though. Like, I think the work culture or dream, this philosophy, maybe more or less is coming from there. So I imagine Americans are very hardworking, very ambitious. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's just but what you think the people in the US not fully understand or fully know about Vietnam and vice versa?
Well, I can't speak for all Americans, but I can speak for some. And what I would say is that it's not so much about, it's just what you've been exposed to or those who've been exposed to or have been in this area that creates that interest. I mean, when people think about Vietnam, there are things kind of tied to the war and things as such. But now it's getting to a point where it's that even your home base would be in America, you still need to find other options. You need to be exposed to other kind of cultures. Because I'm not saying we're perfect, by no means, but what I am saying is that the more you're exposed to, you become more of a better person. And honestly, I think we become more of a global citizen nowadays in this world. So you have to be more beyond where you're from. Yeah, America was where I was born and raised and got some of these superpowers, but that doesn't mean that I need to apply all those superpowers in one place, because there's a lot of missions throughout the world that needs to be saved. And I'm glad I'm that superhero.
But like when we hang out and listen to some American friends, they was telling us that there's many things they heard back then when they were in America that is not true. After they arrive Vietnam, they think like, oh, it's totally different.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, third world country, I guess that's what you're talking about. Like, hey, Vietnam is still in the rice fields with these odd hats, or something like that, or it's just not progressive at all. That's absolutely false. For those who don't know, they're actually, when I talk to my friends, they don't know much about Vietnam besides just there's third world country thoughts.
Even for me, let's say China, right? I have to use the word always. I met people who haven't been to China, have a very wrong perception or misunderstand or not fully a full picture of China. I hear it every day. In Vietnam, not even like European people or American, but in Vietnam, we are neighbors, but still, there's many misconceptions still exist. I'm curious how the time you're living here so far has shaped your perspectives on maybe ambitions or
Oh, yeah.
cultures or growth?
Yeah. Well, the ambition is definitely, you look at things where you don't see here that you don't see over there. Like, I mean, for one thing, kudos. I mean, there's a lot of hardworking elder seniors now in America because you just have to do what you got to do. But, when you see people like a lady who's like 85 years old with carrying stuff that's probably more than her body weight and going down the street, and, that just tells you that the struggle's real. But not only that, it's just that, you have to work hard, keep going at it. And that's kind of puts that whole determination mindset when I see someone like that, because I'm still well and able, but you're going to put yourself. But in other words, I guess what I'm saying is that until you really see it and experience it, it's very inspirational more than it is just, from what I'm seeing from back home. But I'm here, and I like that inspiration because it really helps me where I'm at in my career and where I'm at in my phase of life. It's very detrimental to what I want to keep doing, keep growing and building. So that's kind of on those paths.
So what do you think, what's different about storytelling here compared to back then when you do it in the US?
I think it's just a matter of curiosity. I mean, I'm getting a whole fresh curiosity here because I just don't know everybody. Not everybody knows me. I mean, it's one thing to listen and not understand the language, but there's another approach to trying to learn the language and then being exposed to a whole different kind of worlds. I mean, people who think just like you, but once you learn how to communicate, it's on a whole other level. So that curiosity is what keeps me wanting to stay and make everything here long term, because it's just like every day's new. Yeah.
So are you trying to learn Vietnamese?
Oh, Bonnie quite cold.
Still cannot pronounce that.
It's coming. Yeah. Xin chào. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you need to improve a lot.
Ah.
So now you're living between, let's say, between the US and Vietnam. Do you feel like you have to constantly navigating yourself between two identities?
Oh, that's a great question. I'll put it this way. We're always evolving. So when the kin does return back on U.S. soil, it's going to be a different kin. Not the kin that's not unrecognizable, but a different kin with more tools, more knowledge, more patience, more understanding, and more value on life. And if I keep eating all this good stuff, a higher quality of life, and it'll just show. But I think it's gonna be a different kid, but a good kid, And that's how you should be. You shouldn't. Well, let me not say how you should be. I think the best approach is that when you go see other places, it enhances you. So when you go to other places throughout the world, you got more human value to provide. So I think this is what this is doing. This has helped me build that human value.
But you only talk about very good side, but I mean, maybe something more struggle, like the struggle, difficulties.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's really hard to adjust yourself, or, you have to change something, you feel struggling between two cultures?
I mean, the biggest thing is just, there are times you have struggles with the stereotypes that some people may have, and you have to correct it and nip that. I think it's more of a curiosity. I mean, you do get some stares. Not so much taking my picture. With this little attire I have here, there was one young lady who wanted to take a picture of me, and at one point I kind of felt kind of odd, but it was also kind of a privilege, and that was a slight of a struggle, just to be approached by people who wants to take photos with you or take photos of you when you think you're not looking, and then just some of the other struggles were just people respecting your private space. There are times when it sounds simple to you, but it's everything for us in the States. I mean, we like to have our space.
Yeah.
People.
Oh.
You can't get too
Vietnamese.
close. You're so close, man. I go back to a time I was purchasing something at one of these stores, and the guy was literally on my shoulder, and I'm like, "Well, God, do you want me to pay for your meal too?" I mean, I don't. And I'm going through my context. So that was kind of a struggle to get used to. But it wasn't so much like that. It's just that I think it's such a dense area, maybe in Saigon. So space is one of those things have to get adjusted to.
I think it's just the culture people have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you feel like after some time you can tolerate that because you understand that they are not intentional, try to bother you, annoying you?
You know,
or you're still like very uncomfortable with it?
I don't think the word tolerate, I would never say tolerate because because that means that I'm putting myself at a disservice and the person that I'm allowed to whatever make me feel tolerate. But I feel like more of a build, you know, and it's like, you know, it's just one of those kind of things. It's a first world problem. I guess it's what we used to say back in the day. You just get over it, you know. I don't think, but I will tell you, it feels a lot. I don't think anybody has any negative intentions here. Yeah. I think everybody comes to think with their heart a lot of times. And maybe I am a lot naive, but I mean, I don't come across weirdo, crazy energies, creepies.
Not yet.
No, everybody's good. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. Everybody's good.
So far, like till now, have you found a sense of belonging yet? Or it still feel like you are in a transitional stage?
Great question.
Like you feel like, oh, I wake up, I feel like home, like this is my second home, something.
Oh, I feel good when I wake up. You know, like I said, I got a really awesome landlady. Sometimes she would not let me leave until I greet her in Vietnamese. I think that's just a sense of community. So once you get that sense of community, you really start feeling like you belong. And it's not so much about what I can take from them, but what they can also take from me, or we just build on with each other, you know.
Then how has living here maybe changed the way you see yourself or the way you tell stories?
Well, I think it sees myself being more adventurous, more ambitious, more spontaneous. And I think those are some of the things you need to approach when you come into storytelling. And now all I do is really help me grow. And that's what I'm getting from here. Getting over obstacles, you know, communication can be a very big obstacle for many, where it just destroys your patience. But I'm having to learn that, find my calm, my chill, you know. And there's times in the States you don't have that time to have that chill because everything is coming at you so fast. You got the phones, you got the TV, you got the media, you got the attention from your spouses or your social life. And that's not bad. Sometimes it's good. It's always good to feel love and have that attention. But disruption is what I'm finding myself that's allowing me to kind of build more.
That's interesting because as myself, I feel here is really fast. Like Vietnam, especially now, it's moving really fast. Yeah. But maybe it comes from the fact that you are now maybe in that transitional stage that you're just coming here and you're more or less not actually an outsider, but you are like a visitor or a foreigner here. I don't know if that word sound, but like me in other countries, when I live in other countries, like in Europe, let's say, I feel more chill. Oh, it's just because nobody know who you are. Nobody care. So you're having the freedom to observe, you know, to enjoy, and you know, no matter what, maybe you will leave or this is not your home. I mean that your country. No matter how long you are there and you're used to the things, you're comfortable, but still it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Like I feel more relaxed.
Well, you make a good point. You talk about nobody knows, nobody really cares. So you do have that sense of isolation. Isolation can work for your good and it can work for your negative. It can make you feel like no one cares about you. But then again, it can make you feel like, you know what? I'm kind of glad no one knows me because no one's interrupting me or disturbed me, and I can kind of move on my way and not be bothered. You have those days. So being a foreigner in a foreign country definitely allows you that. You know, you just kind of just blend in.
Because here I'm home, so I have family, I have jobs, I'm in my own country, and you feel like you have responsibilities, you have a lot of duties you have to do. Let's say you have to visit your family, you have to take care of the kids, you have to, like there's a lot of things that life expected you to complete.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's home. It's where your responsibilities are.
Yeah.
So it's connected.
Yeah.
But still, it's a home feeling.
Yeah. And then the great thing about it when you really, meet good people, they want to show you their world. And that's just a whole nother portal of just awesomeness. Because now someone that accepts you to show, they trust you enough. They're like, hey, let me show you this, let me show you that. And you just, you know. And the best thing you do at that point is just to listen and be quiet and just go with the flow. That worked for me. I don't know for everybody, but
But do you normally intentional approach somebody for your documentaries, for example, because you are making films? Do you try to approach a lot of, let's say, strangers?
That's a great question. Not so stranger. When we found Mr. Happy, it was just doing things that we felt we could enjoy doing. Or if it's maybe a problem that needs to be resolved and we feel like we need to put it to the forefront. When it comes to seeking project and things as such, I just kind of engage in things I like doing. Like I'm a big fan of DJs and music, and whether it's hip hop, rock, 80s, I don't know. I just get crazy in music. So to have the opportunity to work on a project like Dope, which is a coffee shop here in Vietnam that attracts global DJs. Now it's not like it's like I can understand that narrative, and that narrative creates a curiosity, which is like we sit down and we just work it out and we tell a good story. But at the same time, we're both just as driven and with excitement and fun. And then at the end of the day, we came up with a good product. So that's kind of like the approach it is. Just start doing things you like doing, the stories you want to tell. And sometimes stories need to be told, and that kind of helps out a lot,
What makes your story meaningful to you today compared to earlier in your career?
Well, it's just a curiosity, going back to what this story can become and who it can reach, and having the trust in that person to allow me to tell it. Well, I'll give you an example. We did Mr. Happy. It was all about tourism. We just showed up in Vietnam. We went to certain places. We kind of found ourselves getting a lot more comfortable with D1 because it kind of reminds us of places like home. But in the end, it's Saigon, but it's not the authentic side of Saigon. So that stirred up curiosity, like, well, what is the real side of Saigon? So when we went on Mr. Happy's Saigon Mr. Happy's tour, he showed us all different types of districts that I had no idea they existed. So it kind of built a curiosity, like, let's tell this story. Let's tell a story from where you can feel like a local in 4 hours. And the fact that this man has this kind of knowledge, there's something to this. How did he even become this person? How did he even learn English to a level where he can communicate and be a tour guide, tell people that? And then the best thing about it, when you get through the whole thing, you're meeting locals, you're meeting vendors, you're going to places that only locals know. And then as you're exposed to it, then it's also the tour guides that he has touring as well. And these are young people, some with college education, some who don't. But they too want to change the narrative of what real Vietnam is. And they want to be involved. And as tour guides, they can have that option now. And that's where social change takes place. So when you take all those elements together, you got a story. And not only a story, but you got something that I think a lot of people want to know more about and know that something like this exists. And not just to sell the service or the product, but kind of expose the story behind the person who's developing this product. So you can kind of feel that emotional connection that where, hey, I want to have that experience. And what is this guy going through that I've been through that I can feel like this is someone I want to have tell me that experience, or kind of.
You met a lot of people and listen to many stories each day. So how you decide, what make you decide this story is worth telling?
It's just it's a feeling. I can't really say it's like
the feeling.
It's just a feeling like, hey, this needs to be told. Then, sometimes you get approached with projects like everybody, oh, you got the story, and then you kind of weed it out by saying, well, is there a budget involved? And then people like, because it does require a lot of your time. It requires a lot of your research, and then the people you get involved, it had to be something substantial. So it has to just connect. feeling. And that lets you know, like, hey, this is the story we need to tell. The story needs to be told. A lot of times, there are stories. I've been approached by stories that had financial backing on it, and you try to make it work because you got to pay the rent. I mean, it's, you got to keep the lights on. But at some time, it doesn't get. You don't get that fulfillment. It could be a lot better product when you find that curiosity connection with it.
What you're working on right now, currently?
Right now, I'm working on the promotion of 2 shorts, especially the one with Happy here in Saigon and back in the States, and getting that into film festivals and just that. I'm also working on more screenings, and these screenings that kind of tie around what things we can do within Saigon to make change for the good, of course. And then also I am working on the concepts to build more content related to documentarians, micro docs, narratives, films, and those kind of collaborators and all that.
So you are not just creating films, but you're trying to build something here.
Yeah, just build more communication with people. New ways to communicate. I'm a big advocate of talking to people like what we're having here. The vision right now is just kind of being more of a hub, whether it's a content studio or whatever else, but just being here, telling more impactful, purpose-driven films. The great thing about Vietnam is that, you got the best weather in your hand in some cases, so it allows you a lot more days to shoot.
It's hot.
And less run.
It's good for you.
It's hot, but when you going outside and you see like 8 inches of snow and you gotta sit in your car and you know what it's like to sit in a cold car, wait for it to start up. You change your whole mind, or even get out the bed. It's just really rough. So you go places like Saigon and you don't have those. That's no longer a challenge now. It's an appreciation because now Mother Nature, environments is working in your favor. So that helps. But yeah, we get more to kind of concrete-based type things. And I was working on a project I'm building on collaborating. We don't have quite got a name for it yet, but I'm using building a platform here in Vietnam that we can distribute or show those kind of projects.
It seems like you see Vietnam more like a long-term place to build, not just a transitions. Or a chapter in your life.
What you're going to find in Vietnam is you're going to find in other places. There's a young, thirsty, driven workforce.
Okay.
And as long as you all on the same page, it's only going to grow. You grow with them. There's a lot of countries here that are still with a different mindset that's more designed for those in their early 60s and 70s. So that can kind of limit the creativity on, things like that. Yeah, it may not be company may not be as rich yet, but there's places, and don't quote me, like South Korea and Japan, they all had to have somewhere they start out as well. And a lot of this stuff is done with the young people, moving. And that's just where Vietnam is. Just, the GDP is 30-year-olds have a lot of control on that. From an outsider perspective, there's a lot of wins. But I will tell everybody this, you have to have a certain mindset, be a certain kind of person to really appreciate that, and not trying to come here thinking it's another Thailand or another Korea or South Korea in this case, or Japan or China. This is Vietnam. So let Vietnam do what Vietnam, and just be thankful that she embraced you and me to do what we want to do and how we want to do it, but with respect.
Then what kind of partnerships would align with what you're building now?
Now that's a great question. So a lot of those partnerships all relate to just people who have that same curiosity to want to do something that's not so inside a box, a little outside the box. Somebody who's, like yourself, passionate, who wants to work, who wants to get it done, who has this idea, and they want to bring something different, something new, something that is scary, creates a fear. But it's only a fear because you haven't found, you're still working to find, it's only a fear because there's an excitement that boils. And that excitement is what's going to send you through and carry it to getting it done.
So I'll ask you the last question. What does being in between mean to you now? At this moment, this stage in Vietnam.
Being open to enjoying the journey, because you're in between, you're building. You don't. There's not a finish line, but you're in between, enjoy the journey, the process, make the most of your time, and surround it with really good vibe, energy, and people. But embrace it. Embrace it. Be that moment. Be in the moment.
Be in the moment.
Yeah. Grateful.
Okay.
And I'm grateful for this opportunity.
All right. Thank you. And that's it for our conversation today with Ken. Thank you so much for coming. I believe wherever we are, whether we are starting something, starting over, or maybe building something like you, or still trying to figuring things out, we are exactly where we need to be.
Exactly where you need to be. You're absolutely right. I absolutely agree. Yes.
So just enjoy the journey. Be in the moment. Yeah.
Because what happens is when you get everything you sought out to, you just forget about what it took to get there. And I think that can strip away from that passion a little bit. I mean, I've had, So stay in the moment.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and follow along for more conversations like this. See you next time. Bye bye.
All right.